Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome to Ramblestream number 41. This will be, I can't remember when I got started doing these, but it's been over a year now. We haven't done one every week, but we have just about. So if you're new to the Ramblestream, I always say this, please introduce yourself. As you can probably tell from the comments already, it is our way to tell us your name or your handle, where you're viewing from, what you're sipping on, and what kind of vehicles are in your stable. So typically we say what kind of Janus, because most of us on here have a Janus. But if you don't have a Janus, tell us what other motorcycle you have. If you do have a Janus and you have some other bikes, like I know many of you do, tell us what else you have. Or let's mix it up a little bit. Do you have any other, doesn't necessarily have to have two wheels, anything interesting, sharing your garage. I will go ahead and get started. My name is Richard Worsham, founder and designer here at Janus Motorcycles. I am sitting at my design desk at the Goshen headquarters in Goshen, Indiana, Janus headquarters in Goshen, Indiana. And I am sipping, I ride a lot of our bikes. The one that I ride the most is number 68, 250 Halcyon. Although I've been riding a 450 more lately, number 262, the one I took out to California, which we will be talking about later in the show. This evening I'm sipping on an Aperol an Aperol Spritz, and it's very good. If you don't like Aperol, or if you've never had Aperol, you should try it, or Campari. Cheers. It really is good, I promise. Even if I decide to inhale it instead of sip it. Obviously, if you're a returning Rambler, you know what's going on. So let's go take a look at some comments. As of right now, we have 50 people on the Ramblestream, almost 50. We have 48 people. We'll take a look at some comments. I have a pretty laid-back program this evening, nothing really big. I only just selected the poem and a couple of things to go over. So join along, relax, and if you have any questions, that's the other thing I want to reiterate. If you have any questions about Janus Motorcycles, about the company, how we do things, why we do things, about riding in general, I welcome them. And if it's within my power, I will answer it. So the first one, we got the award goes to Joel Yanda, Old Man 1, first in the comments at 648. Halcyon 450 number 218 and Griffin 450 number 1 upcoming from Kansas City, and he's drinking ice cold root beer. Very nice. Ray Gates is on. Hello from Taylorville, Illinois, sipping Jack Daniel's rye. In the corral are Black Betty number 10, so that would be a Halcyon 250 number 1055, Indian Spirit, Honda CRF 230F, and KLX 230 Dual Sport. Yes, I remember those. Joel says, I'm in Waco, Texas this week. Oh, nice. Jim Bledsoe, a returning Rambler with 450 number 163, rehydrating with water after a couple hours back roading in our nearby Amish area. Had sunscreen on my face, but forgot my arms. I'm sorry to hear that. I went out, I was canoeing with my wife yesterday on the Goshen Mill Race, and I'm very fair-skinned and burned, especially early in the season like this. So I was slathered in sunscreen, and I can say that I was successful. I did not, even though I was out for the entire afternoon in the sun, I didn't get burned. So success. I'm sorry to hear that. Mark says, Mark Stevens, Westland, Michigan, Halcyon 250 number 643, Buffalo Trace. Nice. Good evening. Richard says, Joel says, Richard, could you tell me what diameter tubing is being used for the Halcyon 450 highway bars? I'm wondering about foot pegs to use. So I take it you'd like to bolt on some foot pegs to the highway bars, Joel. The highway bars, let Well, they used to be 1 inch on the 250s, the ones you buy on I think they're 1 1/8 inches. They're not 1 1/4 inches. They're thinner than the frame tube. So yeah, I think they're 1 1/8 inches. Racing the Sun is the Felix Brothers, Halcyon 450s number 120 and 121 here. Cheers. I just saw you all yesterday at the Distinguished Gentleman's Ride, which we will cover in a little bit more detail here in a minute, but good to see you even so soon. I hope your ride back up to Michigan, up through Michigan was fun. Dan Rademski, a returning Rambler, 450 number 235, Blue Ridge Mountains of North Carolina. Only Janus in the Asheville DGR. Nice. Dave Bowen. I wish I could be riding in the Blue Ridge Mountains right now. Dave Bowen is on. Greetings from, and I talked to you today too, and I will be talking to you soon. Dave says, greetings from Seattle, 450 number 41, seeking solace with a malty Scotch ale and watching tomorrow's storm roll in. Nice. Good to hear from you, Dave. Roger says, hello from Sturgis Road. I need to get Halcyon 250 1018 out for a ride. Yes, you do, sir. Keith, 706 in New York. I'm at Halcyon 1039 at the DGR in Binghamton, with 2 of us representing. Janus made up 25% of the riders. Wonderful. So a small ride, but that's great. Wonderful. Hope you all were successful with your fundraising. Dusty Frank, I saw the new sale currently happening. $1,000 off 450s. Does this also apply to builds currently on the build stand? You'll have to talk to the sales team on that one. Scott Spence, Halcyon 250 number 212 and Halcyon 450 number 178 from Elkhart, right up the road, sipping on some cheap Merlot after planting some Roma tomatoes and eggplant. Nice. Charles says, howdy from the Eastern Shore. Halcyon 250 number 454, Phoenix 250 number 30, Griffin 450 number 4, drinking iced coffee. Good to see you, Charles. Mark McGee, Halcyon 250 number 997, Anacortes, Washington. Lagunitas Pale Ale. Good to see you, Mark. Jeremy Orvick's on. Great. Jeremy from Santa Cruz, California here. 450 number 214. Jeremy's video is up. As of, was it up last week? It wasn't. Yeah. So if you haven't, check out Jeremy's awesome video on YouTube. We just published it. Well, let me see. When did we publish that video? We published it. I'm curious. I'm on my own here. 3 days ago. So yeah, it's been since the last Ramblestream. Congrats, Jeremy. The video turned out really well. We really felt like we captured a little bit of Santa Cruz and brought it back for everybody else here. So if you haven't checked out, it's a wonderful video. And really, I think a great example of a classic Janus owner story, and a Rambler if there ever was one. Whit Lindstrom says, good evening from Charleston, South Carolina. Halcyon 450 number 277, currently being built at Janus, sipping on iced tea. Nice. Jeff Massey, 250 number 850, Central Florida, Yingling and eating Cuban sliders while listening to the Police and waiting for the ramble. Nice. Wow. I like the detail. Jim Winters, hello from Gary, Indiana. 150, just water today. Good to see you. I hope your ride back from DGR was great, Jim. Dan says, my phone is acting up. Blue Ridge Mountains. Nice. Well, Dan, I grew up in the Blue Ridge Mountains, so I do miss it. A little further north than you. I was up in Blacksburg, Virginia area, and so I know the phone thing too. Although we didn't have cell phones back then. Wasn't even that long ago. Anthony Beach. Good evening from Temple, Texas. Gary's on, attending from Delta Flight. What? Are you on a plane, Gary? 2297 to Minneapolis. They have free Wi-Fi on the flight. That's awesome. I think you've got a first there, Gary. I got to highlight that one. Where is it? I've been forgetting to highlight the comments. Sorry, folks. Russell Peters, Owensburg, Kentucky, Detlef 86, 450. There we go. Got to remember to do all the different things. We got David Hyde, 387 from Patterson, New York, sipping red wine and adventuring on my bicycle more than my Janus. That will certainly change in the short weeks to come. Nice. Way to go, Gary. Rambling in the sky. Yes. And the Felix brothers are sipping on Voodoo Ranger 1985 Mango IPA. Anthony Beach says, owner of Halcyon 450 number 24 and soon to be owner of new 450 Griffin, also owner of Triumph Rocket 3 GT. Wow, that's quite a difference in displacement. The Rocket, that's 2,500 cc's, right? That's a car with 2 wheels. That's awesome. Exactly the opposite of a Janus. Yeah, he says. Yep. Well, yeah, it's nice to have everything, a little bit of everything in the stable, right? Cody Crotty. Hi, Cody here. Just put a deposit on a Halcyon 250 on Friday. I also have a Yamaha SCR 950 and an SR 250. Nice. Well, welcome to the Ramblestream, Cody. I hope you keep joining us and tell us about your rambles. Rowan's on. NorCal, Origin 1, sipping on cold mocha. Good to see you, Rowan. Grant is on. Griffin 250 number 1 and Rusty 98 Chevy C1500. Nice. Kurt Wise is on Facebook, joining us from Facebook. Kurt Wise, first time to join live. Well, welcome. Sipping on Arnold Palmer. He rides a Halcyon 250 number 487, whose odometer passed 10,000 miles on the way home from DGR yesterday. Well, 3 cheers for you, sir. Well done, and congratulations. I wish you many more miles on your 250, and you will. Scott Spence, he says he also has a 1974 Triumph Bonneville 750, fully restored to original condition. Nice. Ron, evening from Florida, still on my Himalayan, but we are close to a Janus. Well, great. If you have any questions, just shoot them, post them up here. Richard Brown. Hi, Richard. It's Ricky B from Minnesota, sipping an A&W root beer. I have a Suzuki GSX GT1000 and 2 Triumph Thruxtons, a 1200 and a 900, and also a little Honda 160 Baby Dream Project. Very nice. That's quite a good collection there. Tom Kimball says, greeting from Colorado, sipping on a Weller. Halcyon 450 number 192 had a ton of admiring looks and photo ops from 200 plus DGR riders in Denver yesterday. Glad I dressed up in my finest Irish tweed. Well done. And Tom, I'm not sure if it was you or not who sent me a message I need to get back to. One of you Toms, and I will be getting back to you. Dave Dixon, Halcyon 450 number 266, enjoying a glass of wine with cheese and venison sausage. Very nice. Kyle and Jennifer Stevens, 2023 Honda SCL 500 and sipping on water. And I think there's a couple of other bikes in that garage too, right, Kyle? Steve Rice says, hi all, Halcyon 250 number 969, checking in. Out on the deck with a dog pack and starting the barbecue. Ready to start sipping a high life. Cheers. Well, sounds like you're living the life there, Steve. Riggedy Alps is on. Good evening, all. Cheyenne, 450 number 234, is getting ready for her new motorcycle sanctuary I'm currently constructing. I just came in from working on the deck to catch this live stream. Tell us, what kind of sanctuary are you making? A new garage, I guess? Russell Peters says he's got a 62 Norton Dominator 88SS, 72 CB350, and a 72 CB500, and a 74 CB550. Nice. Ben Ferrer, Halcyon 450 number 43, slightly dirty martini, gray whale gin. And Kurt says, made some same comment in Facebook. First time able to, we caught you on Facebook. Nolan Ubolor, which I recognize your name, I don't know how to pronounce it, sorry. He says he can't wait to get my Griffin back. Hopefully can get my wobbles sorted. Until then, I'm on my Triumph Scrambler 900. Awesome. Ray Gates says, checking again on the gas bottle and bracket for the 250, please. Yes, you may have been the one who contacted Justin, or one of many who contacted Justin, and Justin has got it on my list, and we will be working on it. The 250, it hasn't started yet, so it will be a little bit down the road, but I have put that on the radar, and I will try and do something very similar to the 450, where you have the tool roll, obviously, even if you don't have the tool roll, I don't want to put it in the same spot so that people could get both. We'll probably do it on the other side if there's room. I really haven't taken enough of a look at it yet, but we will. That'll be next on the list. And we are really cruising through these upgrades. I don't know if you all have noticed, but we're launching upgrades constantly now, and it's really exciting. And it keeps the team on their toes and me. And I hope it's exciting for you all to keep having new things. You don't have to get all of them. I mean, we'd like it if you did, but it's fun to have more options. Stephen Galarza, 450 number 200, hit 96 today. Too hot for me. Cold Sierra Nevada. All right. Well, I'm going to pause the comments there for the moment, and we're going to read a poem that I just picked. And I can't find my list of all the poems. Every once in a while I go over and look back and see which poems I've read. But if I've already, I don't think I've done this one already. If I can't remember it, you all shouldn't, right? I went on a nice walk last Sunday, it was, and I was thinking about this poem. There's a little brook underneath we have an old train track, reclaimed, trail, rails to trails kind of thing here, and just beautiful spring. The phlox, or I call it sweet rocket, is really in bloom right now, and it was just absolutely gorgeous in the evening. So it had me thinking of this poem. This is a poem by Gerard Manley Hopkins, who's one of my absolute favorite wordsmiths. He can just, the way he can combine and play with the English language is amazing. Inversnade by Gerard Manley Hopkins. This darksome burn, horseback brown, his roll rock high road roaring down, in coop and in comb, the fleece of his foam flutes and low, to the lake falls home. A wind-puff bonnet of fawn froth turns and twindles over the broth of a pool so pitch black, fell frowning, it rounds and rounds, despair to drowning. Degged with dew, dappled with dew, are the groins of the braes that the brook treads through, wiry heath-packs, flitches of fern, and the bead-bonny ash that sits over the burn. What would the world be once bereft of wet and of wildness? Let them be left, oh, let them be left, wildness and wet. Long live the weeds and the wilderness yet. Don't need to say anything about that one. That one's, don't need to say anything. It's a good one. Okay. What are we doing now? We're going to see if let's hold off on the comments for a minute. Unless there's a whole bunch. Well, I probably should do a couple more. Kelly Chrisman's on. Howdy Ramblers, Halcyon 450 number 236, 2013 limited is a model, I guess. Okay, I don't know my Harley models. 2006 Heritage, sipping on Orange Crush. Kyle says, saw some distinguished Janus motorcycles at the Indianapolis DGR ride on Sunday. Nice. Great. Jeff says, Richard, I saw that an original owner suffered a transmission failure at over 12,000 miles. Likely an anomaly? Is this the highest time component to fail so far? If so, I have a ways. Oh, yes. I mean, we have 250s with over twice that much mileage, and quite a few. So yeah, it must be an anomaly. I don't know what happened. It could be a number of things, things that could have contributed to it. I certainly am not blaming the owner, but there are all kinds of things that can happen to an engine. But with the number of Halcyon 250s out there and the kind of riding I've done on them and the mileage that we've seen put on them and that we put on them, I have absolutely no concern. These motors are, as we say, they're bulletproof. That 250 is fine. So yeah, probably an anomaly, and we're gonna make sure that everybody's taken care of, as we always do. Kelly says, hope you guys had a good ride yesterday for DGR. Yes, I'm gonna cover that in a little bit. Joel says, will Janus offer foot pegs for the highway bars in the future? I would like to keep everything Janus if possible. I don't know. It's a little too Harley for me, but no, I actually did install some pegs on a highway bars when I rode cross country. I didn't find them as usable as I thought they'd be, but maybe, I don't know. Barb says, hello, here in Oregon, waiting Halcyon 450 number 278, sipping on an Ace pineapple cider. Great. Tim Hagel, 418 Halcyon 250, Santa Monica Mountains. I was just riding down there, and it's beautiful. Man, sipping a cold Corona, real cold. Nice. Willard, Halcyon 250 number 805, hot tea in New Jersey. Number 24 DGR, had a long drive for a wedding. No DGR this year. Okay. Eric says, Outlaw, Vancouver, Washington. Good to see you, Eric, joining us from Facebook. Old School is on. Blue Ridge there. Lol. Old School in the house. Nice. My ride is $9.94. Needs some tweaking. Tyler Demand taking care of me. That's good. Sam Adams Cherry Wheat. I see you, Richard. Need a ride. I need a ride. Nice. Jeff Massey. Gary wins the Ramblestream. Yes, he does. Watching on a plane. Doug Earl's on. Number 15. He's got a low number on there. Joining from Facebook. Nice. Nicholas G. Southeastern Connecticut here. Chris Smith. 367. Having a Fatheads Brewery Yinzer Lager. Joining us from Cincinnati? No, Cleveland. Right? Joel, watched Jeremy's video twice. It's a great video. Yeah, it is a great video. Brent Bryan's on. Mommy, Ohio. Griffin 250, 145. Sipping on a Moscato from Finville Winery. Very nice. Jordan Baker on Facebook. I do not have a Janus motorcycle, but I watch the content. Fantastic. Well, that means I'm doing the right thing here. It's good to have you, Jordan. And if you have any questions about Janus motorcycles or anything about it, post them up. And if I don't answer them, somebody else will. And yeah, Christmas Cleveland DGR had 300 plus riders yesterday. 367 was a hit again. Nice. Richard Allman, David Allman in Farmington, New York, seriously thinking about buying a Halcyon 250. Fantastic. Let us know if you have any questions on it. Tell us what are your sticking points? What are the questions you have? What's keeping you from it? Old School says unloading mulch. Love the smell of manure. Good earth food. Nice. Good for you, Old School. Darren Price, Daytona Halcyon 40 number 260, Ice Water. Grant's on Facebook now. Riggedy Alps. When Cheyenne's new home is finished, maybe 2 weeks, I'll post photos of on the owners group. Awesome. I'll look forward to it. Jeff Massey just got my S100 wheel cleaner and my Sweet Janus shop rags. Old School and awesome. Fantastic. Okay, I'm going to pause there for the moment, and we're going to cover. Unfortunately, I have to apologize to you all. Today has been very, very busy, and we have actually been suffering from some parts shortages here at Janus, and so it just means that we all have to work much, much harder and build partial builds so that when the parts come in, we can build them all really fast, or at least try to, and not lose too much efficiency in the process. But it has been a crazy couple of weeks, not the least because we're getting more sales, but also because every once in a while you just have part shortages, and it's something in manufacturing you have to just live with and make the best of. So we are doing that, but I have been so busy that I have not had a chance to collect all the builds this week. And I'm actually, I think, unfortunately, not a whole lot of bikes actually got wrapped up just because of the part shortages we're having. We have a lot of I'm surrounded by partially built motorcycles right now. So all is well. We've been able to expedite several things, and we're excited to be ramping that up. We've also hired some new hands around the shop, who we will be introducing soon. We have Hannah, another Hannah, who is in pre-assembly. If you've been to our owners rally, she is a tattooist, and she was likely the one that, if you saw anyone getting tattooed, she was doing that. She's also. We asked, what was the joke? Like we were looking for someone who, does it right the first time and doesn't ever need to go back and change anything, and who really is willing to live with their art form. So she's doing pre-assembly so far. So doing really well. Among other folks that are joining the team, we've got a couple more interviews. We're really excited to be scaling up our production. Ask me more questions on that if you like, because it's exciting. But unfortunately, I do not have builds for this week ready for you. But I do have some great reports from DGR. And I did not have time to gather photographs from online of other people riding, but send them in. Honestly, send Richard at Janus Motorcycles. I'd love to see pictures. If you rode in DGR and you haven't already sent us a picture, send them to me. Maybe we'll do another recap next week of photographs. But I do have photos from our DGR, which was a hit. And we're going to go over and take a look at that now. Here we are. So I'll just do the preface. DGR, we keep talking about it, but DGR stands for Distinguished Gentleman's Ride, if you're not familiar. And the Distinguished Gentleman's Ride happens once a year. It used to happen in the fall, if I remember right, when they first started doing it. And then a couple of years ago, they moved it to the spring. And I think it really works well in the spring, actually. Everybody's excited to get their bike out and go on a ride together. But the idea is that it is a fundraiser and an excuse to dress up and ride your motorcycle at the same time. So it's called the Distinguished Gentleman's Ride because everyone raises funds globally for men's mental health awareness and prostate cancer awareness. And people ride all over the world in major cities. There's one in South Bend, so it doesn't even have to be a major city. But of course, Chicago, San Francisco, Sydney, London, Barcelona, everyone's riding on that Sunday morning, although it kind of obviously goes around the globe in a wave of riders. And it doesn't have to be just gentlemen riding. Men and women around the world do this. And we form a Janus team every year. And so this year we formed a Janus team, and our goal was $10,000. And I posted on Sunday after the event that we had raised $8,000. But actually, when I looked back at it, we raised, as of the last time I checked, which was a couple of hours ago, $9,248 for DGR this year. So thank you for all of you all who contributed, donated to that. Thank you to all of you all who rode in that and helped to raise those funds. I know they're going to good work, and it's a worthy cause. So it's always something that I'm so excited to participate in and to get dressed up for and ride. So yeah, so here's the DGR at Janus Motorcycles getting started. And we had a bunch of bikes. This is a whole, well, apart from one Griffin 250, this is all 450 Halcyons. We had quite a few Halcyon 450s riding in, along with a limited edition Ducati Panigale V4. Pretty cool. The ride was actually organized by a Ducati owner and some Ducati riders who were very graciously didn't go 90,000 miles an hour. This was a fun one I saw ride in. I thought, that's not a number plate that I've seen on a Triumph before. This is a Triumph Thruxton with a Janus number plate. No number yet. Here I am.
Right. Hello and good morning.
Little report as of right now. There we are. We rode from Goshen all the way out to Granger. That's Jim Winters, I think. That's his 450 there. Yep, he's on. And then I will show you this video. Oh, I'm playing my own audio back to myself. Hold on. We're going to mute this. And see if y'all can... Oh, can't play the video. Okay. Huh. So weird. It sometimes works and sometimes it doesn't. Huh. We're going to refresh and see what happens. Here we go. Let's try this now. This is all the bikes get. We're about to take off. Tell me if you can hear it. I'm just curious. All those Janus bikes. Pete Marino. Ray Lazat.
I'm a maker, so I was like, hell yeah, everything on this bike except like full parts of me. Yeah.
Harley. I don't know if you tell me, can you hear that? I'm curious just for future Ramble streams if I want to play any audio. Okay, well that was DGR. Post up if you have any comments. I'm going to just skip ahead and see if no regrets tattooed. Nice. Let's go back and look at some comments all real quick. Charles Selman, hello from San Francisco. Griffin 124, still at work, so only water for now. Nice. Jeff Massey, need a Janus bookmarker, Richard. Ooh. Wouldn't be hard to do, right? Roger Junt stopped by Roscoe's motorcycle shop today in Rapid City, South Dakota, thinking they should be a Janus dealership. The 250 Griffin and 450 Scrambler would fit right in with their Betas and Shercos. Nice. Get that Griffin 4. Yeah, exactly. Dan Foley. Magic. Hi, Richard. Nice to see and hear you. Halcyon 250 666, a.k.a. Magic, is about to hit 20,000 miles. I just acquired an Indian Scout ABS, but will always keep my Janus. Awesome. That's great, Dan. Good to see you. Gary says cruising over Lake Michigan right now at 36,500 feet at 436 knots. Yeah, Gary, you win. You win this one. Old school. I gotta remember to highlight these comments. Old school says, dude, I need floorboards on my 250. Shifter is too small. Well, we're working on the floorboards. Actually, I just packaged them up and sent them down to the guys at TT. They're going to be working on the controls. And actually, I'm surprised the prototypes haven't come back yet. They might be back later this week. So maybe next week we'll have an update on the 450 floorboards. But we will be able to offer them on both. Jim 240, good evening. Halcyon 450, number 240, drinking club soda. Richard, after 100 miles, my chain needed adjustment. Is this common so soon? Actually, Jim, that is the number one time that you will see your chain go slack. So it's pretty simple. It's a brand new chain. I'm assuming that after 100 miles, you mean after you've picked up the bike or it was delivered. And that brand new chain breaks in, just like your brakes do, just like your tires do, and everything kind of stretches a little bit. And typically, that's the main adjustment you're going to make on a chain. After that, it's going to wear very evenly and slowly and stretch out as well. The links will wear down and the sprockets will wear down. And so the combination of those two means that you do have to adjust your chain. But the biggest adjustment you will make is about at the 100-mile mark. So no, that's totally normal. Don't worry about it. You might need to do another chain adjustment in another 200, 300 miles, and then it should be pretty stable after that. So good question, though. Dan Foley, I already saw that comment, I think. Yeah, sorry. Somehow that repeated. Steve says, Richard, reach out to me through Mitch, and I'll gladly show you 969. Okay, thank you. Dan Radimski. Let me write that a note, because otherwise I will forget. Dan says, picked up a book this week. Highly recommend. The Perfect Vehicle by Melissa Holbrook Pearson. Hold on. You don't mean this book right here. It's great, isn't it? Are you enjoying it? So yeah, just a little ad for another book. Melissa Holbrook Pearson wrote this awesome little book. I have actually not finished reading this one, but it's sort of a personal reflections on motorcycling and all kinds of other stuff. Great book, though. Great book. Thank you, Dan, for that recommendation. Jeff says, what happens to the crew when the parts are low? You guys train? So great question. What happens is that we basically just have to keep building, even though, and it's usually when we have a part shortage, that's a good question. It's usually one item. Sometimes, like right now, two things stack up, and that can be really frustrating. And it is frustrating for the crew because they don't get to complete the task, and that is frustrating. It's not efficient, and they're dedicated to being as efficient as they can be. I mean, these are master builders and craftsmen working back there. So it can be frustrating. Actually, I just said to the crew today, I understand how frustrating this is, but being able to maintain a smooth pace, even in the face of these things, it's really part of manufacturing. And as we scale up and become larger as a company, we'll be able to hold more inventory and kind of, but right now it's as a really small manufacturer, we kind of have to, just coast along and weave our way through. But the answer to your question, Jeff, is that we keep building and we try and start as many things and get them to a point where that part is in the process. So the problem is, like, if let's say you're out of shock absorbers, you can't put wheels on if you don't have shock absorbers. So it stops the process pretty early. If you don't have wiring harnesses, you can't put the main tank on. I mean, we've run out of many things over the years. So wiring harness would be a one that wouldn't be good. Instruments would be one that it can be really frustrating because you can't finish wiring up the bike. Typically, it's the things that we don't make. So it's the things that we bring in from further afield. Wiring harnesses, suspension units. We never have run out of engines, or it's been a very long time since we've done that. Wheels, and occasionally in the past, things that come in from a long way away. And so the trick is to try and smooth it out as much as you can, and just kind of, and then to be able to have the capacity so that when the parts come in, you can try and catch up, which is where a lot of time can be lost. Michael Trueblood, good to see you on, Michael. Speaking of rails to trails, I pedaled 85 miles yesterday along the something Pennsylvania. After a 6:30 start, it took most of the day. By the way, Halcyon 250, number 249. Awesome. Jeff Massey, DGR warm-up equals symphony. Yes. Tom Kimball, 2 Halcyon 450s at the Denver DGR. Mine, 192 and 80. Twins. Awesome. Old School says, awesome. Thanks. Nice. Jeff Massey, Richard, I wanted to compliment you and the folks behind the scenes at Janus. Your accessibility and authenticity only validates the entire experience. All of us are ramblers on our journey. Absolutely. Thank you very much. Good to hear that. And we're always working to improve this. So, it's been fun watching the Ramblestream kind of change over the year, and I anticipate it getting better and better as we kind of hone in on things that you all appreciate. So I do really value your all's feedback. If there's something that you appreciate, I'll do more of it. I know you do appreciate the builds this week, and I'm sorry for not having that this time, but we'll get to it, and we'll try and focus more and more on those things. So thanks. Jim, thanks, Richard. By the way, almost done wrapping up my Halcyon 450 Bucky bike build. Thank you, Justin. Awesome. Well, you just wrap that up, and we will be happy to answer any questions along the way with that. Jeff says, life is a highway. Nice. Cody, Sheboygan, Wisconsin, had our inaugural DGR this year. 38 registered riders. That's not bad. I think we had in the 30s here in the South Bend ride. Tom says, Janus windscreens still on schedule for delivery? Yes, they are. They are cruising right along, and they are great. I've really been, the more I ride with it, the more I enjoy it. Dave Dixon, as I'm listening to this evening, the labs go crazy and start barking. I peek out the window to see an Amazon box on the porch containing some new tools and gadgets for working on my 450. Sweet. Awesome. Old School says, right, it's a long, strange trip. Nice. Racing the Sun. Well said, Jeff. Agree 100%. Well, fantastic. Okay. Next up, let's talk about the ride up the coast. So this is early morning. Let's take a pause for a minute here. Pause a minute, and I'm going to try sharing a different screen. Here we go. So just to remind you all, 2 weeks ago, I went out to the West Coast and rode Halcyon 450 number 262 up the coast. And the ride started down in Los Angeles, which is down here, and ended in what looks like San Jose, but it's actually Santa Cruz, which is up here. And I divided it into 2 days, and it was just a fantastic trip. We rode up through, Woody dropped me off in Malibu, and I rode up through Santa Barbara, up in the mountains above Santa Barbara. If you would like to hear more about that, go back and watch last week's Ramblestream. Then up Highway 101, branched off to, as Dan Radimski has corrected me, Lompoc, California, right here. Got a little turned around, but kept on heading north. Got really windy. Up through Santa Maria, Orcutt, and then San Luis Obispo. Pismo Beach, San Luis Obispo, and ended up in the lovely little town of Morro Bay, which is right here. And maybe in this 3D image, the rock will show up. Yeah, see it? Check this thing out. It's huge. And Dan says that it was mined, and it used to be actually much larger than that. But yeah, it forms a nice little harbor, and it was really lovely. So, yeah. Here we are in the harbor in the morning. I decided this morning to get up fairly early start, and because I knew this was going to be some of the best riding that I would encounter on the ride. The first day was lovely, of course, but the second day promised to be even better. Up the Big Sur coast. And this is me starting off on that, right along the coast, going up. I'll flip over here real quick. If you head out on the map, this is day 2. So day 2 has me going up through Cambria, which is here. Let me zoom in a little bit for you. So this is Big Sur, this whole line of coast here from Morro Bay up to Carmel by the sea. Unfortunately, Big Sur is often closed with rock slides, and that's exactly what happened here at about this number 1 up here. A huge landslide blocked the road, and actually another landslide blocked the north part of the road. So people who live up here had to be ferried in and out in convoys twice a day. And I'm sure if you have a business up there, it was pretty horrible. But I was not able to go all the way up the course. I called ahead and I was expecting this, but I decided, I was thinking maybe I'll just skip it, and go in and enjoy the riding. But then I thought, no way. I'm here in California. I'm going to ride this while I have the opportunity. So I rode 60 miles up and 60 miles back, and it was totally worth it. Absolutely gorgeous. So this first photograph is around here, a little north of, this San Simeon, around about in there. And I'll flip over. And you just look at these views. Incredible. Halcyon, this is my Steed 450 number 262 with British Racing Green, or it's what we call Indy Green, primary with cream side skirts on the fenders, Duluth pack bags that are now available on our site, saddle brown leather, and our windscreen on that. And these are, as Jeremy Orvik has corrected me, these are sea lions. And there's just tons of them. The more you look, the more you see out there. Look at these things. They're not dead. They're just sleeping. Just hanging out. Pretty cool. Anyway, I moseyed on up the coast, and I kept being passing trucks with massive boulders on them. Here's a little video of the. I'm not going to subject y'all to that, but and these big rocks, and I was thinking, what is going on? And then I realized about halfway up the ride, there was a big. I had to stop, and I talked to the lady who is holding the sign, and she was explaining that basically they're just carting in rocks one at a time to support the road so that it doesn't wash out again. So it's all in the interest of keeping the road open. So moseyed on up. This is in the little town of Gorda, which over here, the city hall, it's very, very small with this gorgeous view over the ocean. It was actually cold this morning. The wind off the ocean. Grabbed a coffee and a muffin and warmed my hands up for a little bit. And then proceeded another, 10 miles north to where the All right, let's see if y'all can hear this. Well, we have made it to the end of where we can go. Oh, it's not playing on your. Hold on. This will we're making a video of this, so this is all gonna come in a video, but y'all are getting the preview. This is at. I'll let the video. We have made it to the end of where we can go. It's not playing. All right, never mind. My software doesn't work. But anyway, I made it up to Lime Kiln, where the furthest north you can go on the ride, and then I turned around and headed back south down the coast, retracing my steps. And I thought I had seen the best riding in the world. I mean, check out these curves. Just incredible. But little did I know that it was just going to keep on getting better. And so I decided to cut, instead of this wonderful twisty road here, I went on the even twistier little road up into the mountains. And this road was so narrow that at points I thought it might end. And I was on a track. It really became a track up into the mountains. And it climbs over the mountain here. Beautiful, tight twisting corners up over Black Mountain and down the other side to, it's called the Santa Rosa Creek Road. Anyway, I got back on the slightly bigger road that was equally beautiful and then headed north into wine country. So let's zoom out a little bit. I don't know if I hope you can see the orange line, but headed up, instead of going into Paso Robles, I headed up into this wine country, and there were vineyards everywhere, beautiful scenery, twisty roads. I mean, I'm kind of at a loss for words because the riding was just so beautiful. Up over the mountains. And I should mention that how much the scenery and the topography changed from the coast, where you had this mist all the time, to where it gets basically very dry and kind of vineyard-like over here, until we came up between these two lakes, Lake San Antonio and Lake Nacimiento. And here it became quite dry, almost desert-like, down into the plain, and the wind really picked up. But when I got to Lockwood, which is right here, and it isn't accurate, I did not take a shortcut here. I actually went right here. Just a little tree. And I pulled over and took a break under the tree. And I heard a Harley Davidson rumbling, kind of slowing down, and this Harley took this corner and immediately saw the bike and pulled over, and had a wonderful conversation with a guy named Gary, who was from Minnesota originally. Here, let's look at Gary. Look at this character. Wonderful eyes. Really kind guy. Wanted to know if I needed anything. Was on his big hopped up Harley Davidson. He was from Minnesota, moved out when he was in the Marines, and he's never left California. I mean, I'm sure he's left, but he never went home to Minnesota in the 80s. And worked in a Harley Davidson shop. And then over the years, now he retired in recent years from working in a maintenance at a vineyard. And we shared a wonderful conversation about bikes, and he wanted to know all about the Janus and what the story was and why he'd never seen one before. And he said when he first saw it, he thought it was a Vincent. So I said, well, not bad, given the rear suspension. But he lives not far from here. And after making sure that I was okay, he proceeded on his way. But a very memorable rambling experience, and just shows you the people you meet and the kind of experiences along the way. This is probably one of the most memorable things that happened. And it was just meeting somebody. It was really nice. Oh, this video is going to work. This is this really cool bridge over the Arroyo Seco. Look at this bridge. There's the bike. I've just ridden across it. I'm actually going to be headed back behind the camera here. But this is a seasonal stream, river. So it's dry during parts of the year. Look at that water, though. So clear. Coming down into the mountains. gorgeous. Yeah. So then, as you can see from this picture, this is the Arroyo Seco and Carmel Valley. So what I'm going to end up doing is going up over the mountain and down into the Carmel Valley, famous wine country, down toward Carmel by the Sea and Monterey. And it actually happened to be the same weekend as the Quail motorcycle gathering, although I wasn't able to make it. But it was great. Yeah. Somebody says here, Carson says Arroyo Seco, Dry Creek. Yes, exactly. Take a quick pause and actually look at the comments. Multifarious, does riding the 450 make you want to switch bikes, or do your moped roots win out and you miss the 250? That's a good question. I'm not just giving you the parental answer and saying, oh, I like each of my creations equally, but they each have their own benefits. Let's say this. I don't think I'm going to do another Saddle Store 1000 on a Halcyon 250. It's just, they don't go fast enough. And if your goal is to make a certain time and a certain distance in a certain amount of time, there are better ways to do it. Now, this ride, apart from the highways, would have been fantastic on a 250. I have found that the 250 is more nimble, kind of like you'd expect, but you can actually corner better on it. It has a higher angle. You can lean further. And I think that I like the transmission on the 250. I like shifting the gears more on the 250 than I do the 450. Yeah, they're really different vehicles. So I wouldn't want to give up on the 250. I'll say that. I wouldn't want to lose my opportunity to be able to ride that on a regular basis. Good question. What do you all think? Those of you who've had one of each or have had one and traded it in, I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. Dale Levitt says, those are actually seals, Dale. Okay. Jeremy said that maybe those were seals. I'm getting told sea lions and seals. Somebody needs to set the record straight. Jeremy, tell me. Because the last one, I said it was a seal and it was a sea lion. Maybe those were seals that I just showed you. I don't know. I'm not from the West Coast. Straw Dog says, late, but I made it. Awesome. Good to see you. Jim Blett said, I'm watching on my phone. Do you have a bigger pic of the skirts? Thanks. Yes, we do. Where would the picture be? Is it on the website yet? Check some of the previous Ramble streams, because I do go into like much larger pictures of them. I'm not sure we've posted them yet, but we will be soon. Carson says, autographing in late. Good to see so many Ramblers here. Oh, nice. We got that one. Arroyo Seco equals Dry Creek. Gary Smith says, what is it with Garys and long beards? Yeah, right? Jeff says 250 or die. And Carson says, I have 250 854, and I have to say it is the most fun I've had on a bike ever. Though, full disclosure, I have a Moto Cult Stage 4, plus slated to incorporate in it to make it what I want. Well, nice. Well, you can do whatever you want. I do think that I wouldn't give up on my 250 because it's just so much fun to ride around. And we just built an inventory build not long ago, and it's actually the one that we show the fly screen on. And I was just looking at it, and I'm not knocking the 450 here, but the 250, this one bike, I was just looking at it, and I thought, man, that just perfectly captures the aesthetic, what we're trying to do here at Janus. It's carbureted. It just putzes along. I don't know. They're all good. I've got to be politique here with my answer. Okay, we are running out of time. So, but I think we've actually timed it pretty well. We covered Discovery Day or DGR, $9,248. Thank you again to all of you all who contributed. Our next Discovery Day is June 8th. And we're going to have the Flat Track guys are actually coming in on Wednesday to start talking with us about what we're going to do for it. And someone asked last week if I could share the Rever route. So this is Rever, this app here. I didn't finish the ride report. This is Rever. And if you join the Janus, go get on Rever, create an account if you don't already have one, and join the Janus owners group. It's linked on there. So I've added that on there. But just, I forgot, just to wrap this trip up, I wrote, here is traveling up. Here's the Arroyo Seco, right? Here's that bridge. You want to see the bridge? Such a memory. It was like a landmark to get to that bridge. Here it is, right here. You can't really see the bridge, but there's the crossing of the river. And then from there, you climb up into the mountains, up the valley, and then you hop over the mountain, and you get up into the top of Carmel Valley. And this road is just gorgeous. Absolutely incredible. Winding your way down through, down to Carmel Village, which is somewhere in here. And there was a motorcycle museum that it was not open, unfortunately, but I did stop and look at it. And then down to Carmel and Monterey. And then I hopped on the interstate, and because there's really the only way to get around, and about 75, 80 miles an hour, zoomed my way. And it took a lot longer than I thought, around this bay, through some marshy land to Santa Cruz. And our host, Jeremy Orvik, who was on the stream earlier, and who maybe will correct me on whether those are seals or sea lions. Maybe I'll never know. But anyway, Art in Motion, awesome. That's the report on the trip. We will be putting out a awesome video on it. I'm so excited that Jordan is spending more time now here at the shop doing more video work with us, and he and I and Grant are working on a new take on our videos. So we're kind of focusing on rambling and the storytelling part of it. It's not perfect yet. It won't be perfect, this one, but I'm excited to see how it comes out. I tried to document the whole ride, and so I'm hoping maybe this week, maybe next week, we'll see. It's going to be a long video. I think we're shooting for around 25 minutes. It'll be similar to the Charlie videos in Colorado, but different as well. So yeah, little different take on it. So look for that. I'll save what I'm going to say next for next week, because we have 2 minutes left, and I don't want to rush it. So comments here. Jeff says, I sometimes just grab a beer and stare at my Janus 2. Yep. Andy says, sea lions, it's settled. But Andy, are you to be trusted? Are you the source of wisdom on this? What are your credentials? Sea lions or seals? Thank you. Jeff says, maybe a documentary from the owners, Why We Ride. Ooh, I like that. Well, we try and do some things like that, like our little testimonials. Maybe what we could do is piece together multiple testimonials and do a little documentary like that. And it could feature a special segment on seals or sea lions. Jeff Massey says, black and white, like old Shakey's Pizza. Nice. Yeah. Well, we can try it. We can work on it. All right. We had almost 80 people on there. We have one angry face on Facebook. I wonder what they're angry about. All right. Okay. Well, Jeremy says, miss the pick. I'm on duty. Okay, hold on. I'm going to find it. We're going to set this to rest right now. Jeremy, is this a seal or a sea lion? Ben Ferrer, perhaps sea elephants, but I'm second martini in now. Nice one. Love the ramble, Richard. Well done. Thanks, Jeff. Andy is a sea lion lobbyist. Exactly. I thought so. Ben Farrer, need close-ups. Can I zoom in on this guy? Hold on. No, it doesn't work. Anyway, okay, we'll figure it out. Walks like a seal. No, sea lion. It's both, or neither. Gary's landing in 10 minutes. I think it's time that we wrap up this Ramble stream. So thank you all very much for joining Seal. It's been a pleasure, as always. And I will see you next week for Ramble stream number 42, Monday night at 7 p.m. Bring your best questions, and we'll go from there. Okay, take care. See you next time. Bye-bye.